Central Intelligence Unit of Policía Nacional in Spain. Head of Studies Section, supporting knowledge building and data integration, mainly focused on OSINT, in open source intelligence, to enhance strategic, tactical, and operational activities of other units. He is involved in the ecosystem of innovation through, for example, being team member of the single point of contact team of Policía Nacional in the EUCB. He has worked in many Horizon Europe projects. So he has a big background on law enforcement, but also in developing innovation projects within his organization.
Hello, Pablo.
Hello, Pablo.
Can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you.
Good. So we have also Michael Delaet. Michael is the head of team of AP Cyber here at EC3 Europol within the operations unit with the sound I'm also using two microphones of the European Cybercrime Centers. So his team supports member states in investigating organized high-tech cybercrime threatening computer and network infrastructures in the European Union. Previously, in his last position in Belgium, Michael worked at the Federal Computer Crime Unit, which is the central unit for combating cybercrime. Michael holds master's degrees in applied computer science and product development. We know him very well. He's a very good investigator, also has experience in management positions, but he's also a lot into innovation and coding, so it's a great pleasure to have him here. And also Claudia Pina from EUROJUST, please welcome. She is an investigating judge sitting in the Criminal Investigation Court of Lisbon since July 2020, serving in The Hague as seconded national expert at EUROJUST with the responsibility to coordinate the European Judicial Cybercrime Network. So welcome, Claudia. We have the regulation part that is always important covered in this way. So please, Alvaro, you have the floor to moderate this amazing panel with this exceptional panelist.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maria. I think that we can introduce as well Pablo, since we introduced him in The Hague at Europol, but probably our colleagues there in Spain missed his introduction. Pablo is police inspector for over 16 years, working in public security and investigations in traffic on human beings. Nowadays working at the Central Intelligence Unit of National Police. He's head of studies section, supporting knowledge building, data integration, mainly focused on OSINT, to enhance strategic, tactical, and operational activities of other units. He is involved in the ecosystem of innovation through team leadership of the single point of contact of the Spanish National Police in the European Clearance Board, and he has worked in many Horizon Europe projects. So, welcome to all the panelists. Thank you for your presence here, and let's kick it off with a question to Michael. As a cybercrime investigator, team leader of AP Cyber, the team in charge of cyber attacks investigations at Europol, can you share some of the latest innovative technologies that cyber criminals are using today? And how do those technologies pose new challenges for investigators?
All right. Oh. Okay. So I think that in general, cybercrime has been over the last couple decades, actually, it's more and more evolving into an ecosystem where we speak about cybercrime as a service, basically. And I think that allows the criminals to leverage new technologies even faster than you would see regular criminals do, because historically criminals have been great at adopting new technologies. Goes all the way back, for example, to the invention of machine guns, where they were using that before the police was. So I think they're always a step ahead, and that is probably also magnified in cybercrime because of this ecosystem. So when a new actor, for example, could be leveraging, let's say, a phishing panel that uses AI to craft really professional phishing messages, then it's not just that actor that uses it, but it immediately magnifies to the entire ecosystem, because they can all see that this is a superior service and gravitate towards it. Now, this is so far as I'm aware, a fictional example, but it's like near future. It's a certainty that these kind of things will be implemented in phishing panels, for example. How does that increase the difficulty for us? Well, you could say that, for example, let's say the Japanese markets. I was talking to Japanese colleagues recently, and they've been quite isolated because of the language. So for phishing, for example, they were quite safe because they could not be targeted by worldwide cyber criminal actors. Right now, that changes dramatically because now you can easily get an LLM to draft a really professional phishing mail also in Japanese. But on the other side, I also don't think that we should like panic or exaggerate because the approach that we follow remains the same. So from our side, we're always looking at infrastructure, we're always looking at the people behind the keyboard, and even leveraging AI, for example, there's always somebody behind the keyboard. So we're looking at the human actors, and we're looking at the payments, the crypto payments, specifically in cybercrime, and all of these things, no matter how much technology you leverage, will remain things that we can go after. Now, of course, crypto is also, I wouldn't say the hottest thing, right? I mean, it's for sure it's hot, but not the newest technology that is being leveraged. But even there, if you talk to our crypto specialists, things are moving fast, of course. New methods of anonymization and mixing techniques and things are really moving fast there. So it's for us a challenge to keep up, for sure. But yeah, we do our best, and we try not to be too far behind. I think that's always the goal for law enforcement. To be ahead is difficult because, and I think this is probably going to be a follow-up question, but we always have to play within the rules, and the criminals don't. So that is, of course, what makes it a slightly different playing field for both sides.
Definitely, that's pretty accurate. We carry on a little bit more weight than criminals in this sense. Let's pass now a question for Claudia. Maybe later we have time, we can get back to you. So Claudia, from your experience as a judge and from a regulatory perspective, what do you think that are the current gaps or challenges in existing laws that hinder the fight against cybercrime? How can innovation help to bridge those gaps?
Thank you, Alvaro. I think we face a different set of challenges. From one side, we face jurisdictional challenges. As you all know, cybercrime is by nature a transnational reality. And this, of course, causes jurisdiction issues. Which countries are in a better position to investigate, prosecute, and trial a case? This is a difficult legal problem and also practical that Eurojust tries to support in the national authorities to solve. Another set of challenges has to do with evolving technologies. We always lag behind, as it was mentioned. Cyber criminals are faster and more adaptive than us by nature. We cannot change laws all the time. It takes time, it takes effort. So we need to create laws and think about law in a very adaptive way, and also in a very technology neutral way. We also face, and this was also mentioned today, very serious attribution challenges related to the nature of cybercrime. So we know that criminals hide behind obfuscation techniques, behind encryption, behind the pseudonymous nature of blockchain technology. So this is very difficult for us because from a judicial perspective, it's a little bit easier for you because maybe for an investigator to have intelligence data is enough to do your job. But then the case does not stop there. It moves on to prosecution, moves on to trial. And on trial, we need not intelligence, we need evidence. And we need evidence capable of passing the threshold of the presumption of innocence principle. So this is a huge challenge for us. We also face together as law enforcement and judicial authorities the problem of privacy. I don't like to say security, but versus victims' rights. And this is something that we need to stress. The issue here is not privacy versus security. It's privacy versus the rights of individual victims. So we are being left in the dark due to encryption, due to limited or absent data retention frameworks. And we need to think that there are no absolute fundamental rights. Not even the right to life is absolute if we think, for instance, of the right to self-defense. So why privacy should be an absolute right? It cannot be an absolute right. It needs to be balanced according to the principles of proportionality and necessity, or else we are not really protecting privacy. We are leaving victims, and especially the most vulnerable victims, such as children, unprotected.
Excellent input, Claudia. Thank you very much. And of course, we cannot but agree with this right to access data in a lawful manner. So this is a very, very hot topic currently. And I encourage anyone to bring up this narrative and establish discussions between law enforcement, between judiciary, between industry, and privacy advocates as well. Why not? We have to be clear on what we are aiming and the challenges that the different communities have. So I think that when everybody understands what the other is aiming to achieve, we can really establish a balance in our societies and make sure that everybody judges law enforcement and can achieve their duties in this rule of law democracies. So Pablo, we are going to pass to you right now. And I will ask you that if you can tell us in your work of innovation projects, what are some of the successful examples where collaboration between academia, industry, and law enforcement has led to breakthroughs in combating cybercrime?
Well, thank you, Alvaro. Hi, everyone there in the Hague, in the Cyber Innovation Forum. I'm very, very glad to be here, presenting also the cyberwall as well that is taking part here in Avila, in our police academy. So I would like to start stressing what my colleagues already, the other speakers already said about the importance of being adaptive in this time. The cyber wall that is taking place here has a motto, and this motto is safe intelligence, and it's focused. This edition, the fourth edition, is focused on artificial intelligence, but we cannot, as Claudia already mentioned, we cannot think about use artificial intelligence without bearing in mind that we must fit and be very stuck to all the legal framework and ethics and privacy issues that we should consider as law enforcement agencies, as authorities of all the member states. Well, I will also like to say that I totally agree about the need of being adaptive with this legal framework, and also to help us to chase the criminals, to catch them with the fuel and with the tailwind of the industry and the academia. About the question you asked me, I can give you 4 examples of what I think, in my opinion, are good examples of this, let's say, collaboration with innovation, with industry and academia. The first one is this cyberwall event in which academia, industry, but also public citizens are coming here. We have more than 8,000 attendees, more than in person, 7,000 registered participants online, that I hope that they are seeing us and hearing us as well. And well, we have more than 290 workshops, conferences and lessons. And this is a good opportunity as well to build a strong network with these other partners, with the academia and the industry. So this is the first example that I'm sure is a good example of how we can face the innovation and build the partnership with these other stakeholders. Second one, let me talk you about a European project. It's an Horizon 2020. It's coming to its end, and it's called Heroes. It mainly focuses in developing novel strategies to fight against trafficking in human beings and CSA, CSM, which are very digital-related crimes, as you all know, and they are really connected. So this project gathers as well the public sector, the industry and the academia, and as well as the public society with NGOs participating in the consortium. We are not only from the European countries, but we have partners from South America, Bangladesh, and many other places. And in this project, we are developing those tools that we need to fight against these crimes, not only technical ones. I can mention one of them is the profile content generator to boost and to help the law enforcement agencies to carry on their undercover investigations, or a no-sin tool to help to collect data from dark web as well. So those are some of the samples of the tools that are being developed in this project, and we are already tested, and we had one pilot, and we are having another one in July, and they are, I can say, really promising. So this is the second example. Third example I can give you about the partnership with public and within public and private sector is a pilot workshop that we have just had last month, and it's about anticipating and kind of predicting the crime before it occurs. So with the partnership with some exchanges and industry from the cryptocurrency traceability, we made a pilot, and we were able to prevent, in this case, in this little pilot, just one day, we could prevent one person to be scammed for more than 20,000 euros. So, well, I think it's a good point to start, not only thinking about prosecution, but in prevention. And the fourth example that I could give you, and we are carrying on as well in Policía Nacional, are in agreement with some universities. We have the final degrees projects. Some of them are really promising, and one example of those is a tool that gathers open source intelligence to enrich our daily report about events that are of police interest. So we will not only have our report based on our databases and on our data, but also we will have automatically enrich this report with the open source intelligence that may be related to these events of interest for us. using natural language processing and other new technologies. So these are, I think, 4 good examples to share with you.
Thank you very much, Pablo, for that input. Following up on these questions, and making the most of your experience, which are the main challenges or gaps that you have identified in these innovative projects, in the cooperation of those projects, and how do you suggest us to overcome them according to your experience? We can hear you well.
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah, I think thumbs up. Thank you, thank you. So, well, I can say that there are 3 main challenges. The first one is that I think we have to believe in innovation in our institutions, and that is a must, and it's an important thing for us to be on the loop of the innovation. Of course, we are law enforcement agencies. We have to tackle and fight against criminal organizations, and we have to prevent crimes. We have to protect our citizens and defend their rights. But we cannot be, separated about what's happening in the world. And in the world, we are going more and more to the digital world as well. And we need to be we need our requirements and our needs to be fulfilled by the public sector and the academia to develop these technologies to cover our gaps. So we have to strongly believe that innovation is an important role that we have also in law enforcement agencies. Also, there are, of course, budget constraints within the innovation and implementing these tools. But there are also some funding programs in Europe that we can use, or also at the national level. And I can say that here I'm acting as part of the team that supports the single point of contact of the national police in the European Clearing Board. And it's in our research and innovation service. They are really strongly working on, let's say, having funds and being granted for developing and implementing a lot of tools. And this is also a thing that we must carry on trying to take the opportunity that to be granted for all the programs to cover the needs that we have. And the third main issue that I would like to mention is that, well, we already talked about it, and it's like the legal framework that we have sometimes constrained us a lot. I'm talking about not only ethics and privacy, but now with the Artificial Intelligence Act, we must be very aware of how are we going, and if are we going to be able to use this artificial intelligence in a proper manner. And this is, of course, a great challenge, and not without collaboration and not without cooperation, we can do this. And I have to say also thank you to Europol, not only the EC3, but also Innovation Lab and all the departments that they are doing a really great job sharing with us a lot of tools that we use in our daily basis. This is really, really great. And without cooperation, as I said, I think there's no possibility for us to fill in these gaps and to face these challenges that we have.
Thank you very much, Pablo, for the inputs. Very valuable, and totally agree that AI is with us, but we still need to nurture a little bit this new framework that we have had. I will pass now to Michael the floor again, and in this case, I will ask him, how do you think that these new implementations, new tooling, new innovative projects can be implemented for law enforcement, by law enforcement, and judiciary even at practical level in an efficient manner, and that in order to help us to stay maybe not ahead of the cyber criminals, because we know that they don't have any rules, any frameworks, but at least not to leave us much behind.
Yeah, indeed. When we talk specifically about AI, but of course innovation goes wider than AI, but in the last year you would think that both are kind of synonymous. But in AI, for example, indeed, it's a question of not being too far behind. For that, also referencing what Claudia said, for example, we need indeed things to be valid as evidence. So if our findings, if tools that we use can be challenged legally, then that kind of makes it fairly useless that we put in that effort. So I'm very happy to see that within our organization, we're not only investing in exploring all of the different opportunities. So this goes from investigators themselves, brainstorming and thinking, to the innovation lab that is exploring what is technically possible, but that we are also building this governance framework. For example, we have a chief AI officer that has been nominated, so that we make sure that everything we do is grounded within that framework, so that indeed it cannot be challenged, or that we can justify to, for example, the European Data Privacy Supervisor, how we are doing things. Which I think makes it in the end more valuable. So on that part, it's making sure that we don't lag too far behind. On the other side, if we take innovation a little wider than that, then do I need to
keep going?
Okay. On the other side, if you take innovation a little bit wider than just AI, then for example, what we are doing, and of course I cannot go into detail, but we have some world-class guys in-house here for seizing server infrastructure, for example, so that we have insight in criminal infrastructure that goes beyond, or that is, let's say, what criminals are unaware of, that we're able to do that so efficiently. So those kind of things do allow us to stay ahead, or maybe we have some insights or some tools in, let's say, some communication tools that are being leveraged by criminals. Again, if we have a technical insight there, then that can keep us a step ahead. If we have some view on things that they consider as being secure. Same thing goes for cyber criminal crypto mixing services and such. Again, those things are considered secure, but we have some really good guys that can efficiently demix these things. So those kind of things do allow us to stay ahead of the curve. And then there's also the big advantage, I think, and this goes also in the AI sense, is that we have some really valuable data sets at Europol, basically contributed by the member states, because, and maybe I should have started the conversation with this, we always support member states and third parties that cooperate with us. We are not the ones going into infrastructure, seizing it, or arresting suspects or doing house searches. We're always supporting national law enforcement in that sense. But we've had some really great operations that we supported. Let's mention, for example, the chip mixer takedown, the Bitslato takedown. Both were like crypto mixers or crypto exchanges. And out of those things, it's not only about taking down the infrastructure and about dealing a blow, hopefully, to the cyber criminals, but it's also about the data sets that we get from that. And so these data sets are contributed back to Europol. And if we then implement machine learning within the frameworks that I described, then those can give us some really valuable insights, because basically it's too much data for an analyst to manually fully exploit. But if we can get some help from some machine learning algorithms, then I think we can, again, stay ahead and get some really interesting insights from those data sets.
Thank you very much. Well, as Eduardo Asileiris, the head of EC3, mentioned yesterday, data is the new blood of law enforcement. And I would say that almost all innovative projects, especially AI, we had several presentations that were making a big emphasis, saying that if you don't have the right data, you cannot train your models, and basically you cannot do your research. So in this case, law enforcement and judiciary have unique data sets that can be really used to leverage these innovations. And of course, now we just need to complement this with the regulation that we are mentioning. We still are figuring out how to implement these models, and before than that, we have already a new act that it's implemented, and now we need to make sure that this act is not impeding us to do our job. So let's pass now to Claudia as investigating judge, representative of EUROJUST and the European Cyber Judicial Network. So how judiciary and lawmakers keep pace of the rapid advancement in this world in technology and innovation and ensure that regulations remain effective in combating cybercrime?
Well, we also need to innovate and think out of the box. So we also need to find new solutions for new problems. One possibility to help us stay ahead is to create, and this has been done in some member states, but I think there's still room for improvement, to have specialized units from the prosecution service and also from law enforcement side. But this is, in my perspective, not enough, because then it does not reach us judges. We are not specialized, or we are specialized in everything, which means we are specialized in nothing. So I can have in my desk a case about cryptocurrencies and a case about a robbery where someone just robbed a car at gunpoint. So what do I do if I've never heard about cryptocurrencies? So the only solution for this problem, in my perspective, is to have also knowledge centers. So perhaps not a specialized unit, but at national level, or to start at European level, to have a knowledge center where we can resort for documentation and for support. Also, something we can and are trying to do is to have more dialogue with the academia and also with the private sector. For this is not something that we just meet once per year in a conference. I don't think this is enough, because really to have a fruitful dialogue, you need to build trust. And to build trust, you need permanent forums where you can meet, a selected group of experts can meet and exchange ideas. Also, since cybercrime is a transnational problem, we need to maintain the engagement of authorities at a multinational level. So I think Europol and Eurojust are doing their best to do this and to create communities of experts. For instance, the community that I have the honor to lead, European Judicial Cybercrime Network. We can be a community and a forum to exchange experiences, best practices, and to create this permanent bond of trust where we can resort to each other if needed. From a purely regulatory perspective, I think there's also things that can be done. It was already mentioned that we need to be very technologically neutral. A great example of a very good law is the Budapest Convention. It has stood the test of time for more than 20 years, and it's very well drafted in a technology neutral way. Also, we can perhaps incorporate in cybercrime laws sunset clauses that would allow us to periodically be forced to look into what we have done and review it, and just not rely so much on the political motivation of a certain moment for lawmakers. Also, it's good to have some independent oversight on how laws are being implemented. So it would be great to have at national level or at European level some kind of independent body to oversee the implementation of cybercrime laws. Again, the Budapest Convention is a great example. It's not exactly talking about an independent body, but the TCY follows the convention, follows its implementation, and I also think this is a strong point to have to allow for the convention to stand the test of time so much. Finally, I think we need to be more proactive. So not just chasing criminals, but be ahead of the curve with proactive surveillance tools. And this also arises complex legal challenges that we need to be prepared to. So to have a proactive approach demands not only the adequate technical tools, but also demands an adequate legal framework to make the evidence coming out of it valid. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Claudia. Very good input as well. I have a question maybe for the three of you, maybe just to, before wrapping up, since we have Pablo as well, and I would like to know, in any specific order, what is your opinion of this meme that is circulating in the networks of US creates, China replicates, European Union regulates, specifically talking about these innovative developments like AI. Pablo, what is your opinion? How do you think that at EU are we doing regarding the implementation of these innovations? You mentioned the AI Act and the challenges that pose now on the application of AI models to law enforcement. What is your take on this? Do you think that this is going to be a significant challenge in our way?
I think that it's going to be well, quite hard because we are facing a very evolving era. So we have to, I mean, like law enforcement agencies, we have always been really constrained, as I said, by the legal framework. But this is not a problem for us. And the fact that we are, as I mentioned, we are part of the European Clearing Board, and we can do things as law enforcement agencies to put in the table our needs as well, because we have to protect our citizens, we have to protect the rights of the European citizens. So I think that, and I'm pretty sure that it's been heard and it's been taken into account by the European Commission, and we need to try to have our input in there.
Thank you very much, Pablo. Let's pass now to Claudia, since she's the expert in this specific topic. I'm pretty sure she has an additional opinion on this.
Well, I always believe that insult can be a superpower. And in the case of the EU, actually regulation is our superpower. We have been setting the pace for regulation all over the world. We
in being innovative and also abiding by all of these rules. And maybe one last thing to mention is that even though we are the European Cybercrime Joint Cybercrime Action Task Force, which is not part of Europol, but it is composed of liaison officers from across the world, basically. And so locally there also we have, for example, 4 American services that can contribute with their innovation as well. So we can bundle our strengths, I think, in that sense.
And exactly, that's the superpower of Europol, bringing everyone together. So in this case, this has been always possible as well today with the Spanish National Police and Pablo, thanks to HoloConnect. So Pablo, thank you very much to you. Thank you very much to CyberWorld for engaging with us today. Our best regards from The Hague, from Europol, and hope to see you soon. Thank you very much. As well, thank you very much to our panelists here present, Claudia and Michael. A round of applause for them. And now we pass to the important slot of the day, which is the lunch break.